is Everyday Expertise, and I'm Angela, and I'm here with Nir Guzinski, and he is an actor, writer, and director. He's the creator of an online sketch comedy show called Nearly Funny, the web series This Is Gus, and he's starred in and worked on theater productions with the company Brave New Productions. He also supports local artists with his Monday Motivators segment on Instagram.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Hi.
So, let's get started. How did you get started in acting?
In acting, wow. When I was like 8, I kept making improvisations and imitations and accents at family gatherings. And so my parents were just like, okay, he needs to have an outlet, so let's put him into something and put him into acting. That's what they thought they would do. And my grandfather always called me an artist. He would always say, oh, little artiste. Russian, so that's not a great Russian accent, but that's what he sounded like. And so my dad put me into to an agency, an acting agency, and then I started doing auditions at around that age, between 8 and 15.
So you were like a child actor?
I wasn't because I wasn't really good. I didn't get anything. I was just auditioning, and I was too shy at that point to actually take classes. So I was just like thinking that, you know, somebody would discover me, or I'd have an audition and I'd get a part. But that's not how it works. So, and I needed training, and I wasn't that good probably at that time. And then eventually high school came around. I was also playing soccer. And so I focused more on soccer at the time, kind of stopped acting. The agency I was with went bankrupt or disappeared. So I no longer had an agent. And so that was it for acting for about another 5 years. And then after that, I had the itch, and I really was missing it, and I wanted to get back into it. And so I turned, I think it was 19 or 18. And so I approached acting agents again, and they all said, you don't have any experience, so you need to do stuff and get yourself out there and be in short films and independent productions. And so that's what I started doing. So I applied to a bunch of short films and school projects, and then took acting classes, and that's where I'm at today. And then I just kept progressing and doing more stuff.
That's pretty cool. So how did you get started with creating your own content?
Wow. Creating my own content, that was 3 years ago, around 3 years ago. So Montreal is kind of seasonal for acting. And again, the opportunities are there, but they're not that many all year round. And there are a lot of actors. And so it's hard to get the opportunities. And you can't just sit around waiting for auditions all the time. So that's what me and my friends were doing. And I felt that it was just kind of hard to keep that creativity, to keep the passion alive. And I felt frustrated. I was like, this isn't fun. This isn't what you expect when you want to be an actor. You want to perform. And so I was doing theater a lot. A couple years back, I did about 3-4 straight years of theater, which takes a lot of time and preparation, and it's an awesome experience. And everybody should do theater. And so I just needed to do something. I needed a creative outlet. And so I started with Vine, which I guess is completely dead now, but about 3 years ago, I went on Vine and I saw this 6-second video stuff, and I saw people doing these comedy bits. And I always loved comedy. I was always somebody who liked to make people laugh, and I enjoyed it, and I loved getting people to be happy and to be entertained. So I initially was terrified to do this, to put out 6-second videos of myself. And so it started just being me talking to myself. And so I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to film. I didn't do any script writing. I didn't have any of that knowledge, but I wanted to act, and I wanted to be creative and put out content, and just practice also the acting stuff. And so I kind of picked it up from there 3 years ago on Vine, and then moved to Instagram, and then from Instagram to YouTube, and then Facebook, and that's kind of where it started. Initially, it was just me. I was terrified to even post it out there because, you know, kind of self-conscious about doing these videos, because I think there's that stigma back in the day. There's the stigma with theater actors in TV and film. People think, people always thought that theater is where to go. So if you're not a theater actor, well, you're not really an actor.
Right.
So there was that stigma in the past. Now the stigma turned to the web content. So if you create online content and you're on YouTube, you're just a YouTuber, but you're not really an actor. And I think that's a stigma that is slowly fading, but I think it will eventually fade, just because people consume content and media on the web and on their phones, and so you have to be there in order to be seen.
Yeah.
And now is a great time to get actors to go on these platforms, just because there aren't that many yet, and well, enough, or maybe now it's starting to change a lot faster. But back in 3 years ago, it was seen kind of as a taboo, or not as a true actor. And so if there's more actors on these platforms, then that platform just can get more credibility as well. So long story short, I started that and then started contacting some of my actor friends from acting classes.
Yeah.
And so we started initially a couple of videos with a few of us. I think we were 3 or 4. A couple of videos then. And then I realized that I wanted to not only just be able to get myself seen and the visibility, because again, waiting for auditions is you just wait. So creating your own content, you get to create roles that showcase your talent. And so I wanted to gain visibility for myself, but I also realized that there were a lot of actors that I knew that also didn't audition enough, or their talent wasn't seen. So I thought, let's expand it to also include more actors from Montreal locally that could showcase their talent. So I would start writing videos for them, as well as putting them at the forefront, and then kind of showcasing their strengths and their talents. And it just led to now over 200 videos.
Okay, so let's talk about Nearly Funny.
Yeah.
How would you describe it to someone who's never seen it?
Basically, it's a bunch of sketch comedy videos. It is fun. It's short-ish now, because they used to be really short. They used to be 6 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
They're now between a minute and sometimes 3 and sometimes longer. They used to be unscripted, improvised. Now they're scripted more and more. So, but they're just a creative, fun, entertaining short form videos that highlight specific relatable issues, but we take those relatable issues or instances and turn them into stories and creative, kind of goofy or weird or just out there kind of content, but with a story. So we try to, I think that's what I try to do the most that I can, is take those relatable instances and not just make it into a relatable video, but make it into a story. And so I guess an example is one of the videos we did was with a bathroom attendant. And so it actually happened to me when I went to a club in Toronto, I believe, and I ate something really that wasn't good for me. And so I went to the bathroom, and it was a small bathroom with one stall, and I went into the stall, and as I was, conversation's going a little off here.
Yeah.
But as I was doing my business, some guy all of a sudden went, "Rough day?" And I was like, "What is going on? Who's out there?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I work here." And then as I finished and walked out of the stall, he was there, and he's the bathroom attendant. So I was like, this is weird, but also hilarious. And so we took that concept and made it into a video, which was not just about that, but it was kind of like a funny, creepy video. So that's what it's about.
It was pretty funny.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So this is Gus.
Yes.
Which is one season.
Yes.
Is there going to be more?
I hope.
This is Gus?
So This Is Gus is a web series that is about a man who has a girlfriend that they live together, and it's a long-term girlfriend. And the unexpected arrival of his adopted brother causes a lot of turmoil and a lot of change, which causes the relationships from every side to kind of evolve and to either deteriorate or get better. And so that is also, it was also a very slight parody inspired from This Is Us. So kind of like the same kind of family dynamic issue,
Right.
But in a totally comedy, wacky kind of way. And the web series also was born from another interesting story. So I was doing the Nearly Funnies for 2 years about, and I went to an audition for an independent production, and it was a drama. And I thought I did a really good job. I got an email back from the director who said, you did a really good job, but we felt that we sensed a bit of humor, a bit of comedy in your delivery. And I was like, okay, I guess I could be, but I really thought that I did the dramatic role, and I can play drama.
Yeah.
So I realized that maybe, or it could be, this is an assumption, potentially the I guess the amount of content of comedy that's out there with my face on it, people may have typecast me as just comedy. So I said to myself, I want to create a show or something that would showcase my dramatic side and the ability to perform in a drama. And so I wrote This Is Gus. Initially, I was supposed to play Gus, but I flipped it so that I would play the main character, who's more of the straight character with some comedy, but also some drama, to showcase that side of me.
Yeah.
So that's where This Is Gus was born. And with the help of people like Jen Viens and Sean and Jean Bernard and a bunch of other Montreal actors that were in it, we did it in a very short time. Filmed it, again, very low budget. I think we spent about $300 on mainly food. And so everybody came together and helped make them, I think that we did 9 episodes. And now we're waiting to see what happens. I don't know. I want to make a season 2. I just, time and
it sort of ended like...
Yeah, it ended with a cliffhanger that there is a story. Season 2 I have an idea for season 2. There's a continuation. We just need to make it. So if anybody wants to fund This Is Gus season 2, I would love that, because it would help us a lot to create.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly, a crowdfunding. But that's it. Part of it is time. Part of it is funding, because season 1 was done. And getting the people involved. Like, I think we all deserve to be compensated for the work we put in. It's hard when you're starting out. Everybody did it for free. So it's tough to not be able. I would love to pay everybody that performs with Nearly Funny or anything else that I do, but it's hard to have the budget to do that. And there are ways, and that's where hopefully we can come up with that money to be able to pay the actors, the crew for that. But I also need time to do all that. So This Is Gus.
Yeah. So what would you say are your influences?
Influences
in writing and making stuff.
Comedy-wise,
acting.
To me, I grew up watching a lot of Mr. Bean. I grew up watching comedy, like romantic comedies. The Jim Carreys, now my great names. I'm terrible with names. I'm horrible with names. The actors that I can't even remember now, that did a lot of the romantic comedies. And then there were also influences like Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks. Watching Forrest Gump for the first time, I was in awe. Basketball Diaries with Leonardo DiCaprio just was like unbelievable. What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and then Johnny Depp. All these amazing actors, I think, made me want to pursue and to be able to do what they do, and to bring a character and like an imaginary world to life. And that's one of the things that inspired me to pursue acting and to work hard and to learn the craft. In the comedy side, my dad was somebody who's always made people laugh, was always kind of the class clown when he was a kid, and I saw the way that people would gravitate towards that. And I also noticed when I was a kid, and even now when I meet people or talk to people, that humor and comedy allows you to bring people together, and just it kind of makes things a lot lighter than, especially in today's world. We're gonna go political. No, we're not. But especially in today's world where things are heavy and there's a lot of drama and a lot of tension and a lot of negativity swirling around, I think comedy and having just a laugh is a positive thing. So that's one of the other reasons that influenced me to get into the comedy side of it. But in terms of acting, it's a lot to do with just telling a story and being able to share a story and make people feel something, and then watching those actors, even the Meryl Streeps of this world, just when you watch their performance, you're like, I want that ability. And so that's what I try to do now, is just work hard to do that, to reach those levels, and become my own person as an actor. But those are my influences. Yeah.
So most of the sketches on Nearly Funny are standalone pieces.
Yes, not all.
But yeah, not all of them. You have created at least one recurring character.
Yes.
Right? The French Canadian therapist.
If ever it hits and it goes viral or people see it, I probably have to move from Quebec. It's not a bad thing.
It's not that bad.
I know. It's just
you just sort of make fun of French slang mostly.
Exactly. I grew up going to French school, so I went to elementary school in French, high school in French, and then switched to the English side. Yeah. I grew up a lot around French Canadian friends. I have some of my best friends are French Canadian. And I love Quebec, to say that. But there are expressions in French when French people speak English, similarly when English people speak French, that are just sound funny. And so it started off as, again, I think it was me interviewing myself, me being the therapist interviewing myself as a patient, and picking on one word that sounded funny in French when pronounced in English, pronounced in French. And then I think the reaction started to come in that people thought it was entertaining and loved it. And so I progressed it kept making them. And then Sean became the patient. And everybody keeps asking, why does he come back? And so we still don't know. And
he's cheap and you're cheap?
Exactly. Well, I'm not that cheap, $250. Like, not always cheap. But you never know. There is also that side of it that is entertaining, that people react to it and question why and who's this guy and where does the secretary come from and like all these different things.
The secretary who's on strike now?
Exactly. Yeah. So she's on strike and then there's replacements. So it was great. The secretary, if you all don't know, was Jessie Nadeau, who was in Occupation Double. I'm going to throw her name out there. But she's a great actress too, so forget Occupation Double. She's a great actress. Yeah. And so that is one of the I think main ones that recur, but there are two others. There is the casting guys. Me and Sean play casting directors. Yeah. And we highlight some of the, again, we exaggerate, but we highlight some of the things that as actors we face when we go into casting rooms and commercial auditions or film, TV auditions. So those also come back. I think we've had 4 or 5 episodes with them. There was at one point I was doing a photographer character, but that only lasted 2 sessions because I ran out of things to say for him or just for...
You have these videos also where you're like talking to yourself.
Yes.
One of you is extremely sweet and the other one is very cynical.
So that was stemmed from way back when I'd started Vine. So those were the 2 characters that were in Vine. It was the 2 roommates. One was the kind of like sweet, innocent, idiot roommate versus or naive roommate versus the normal Nir, but a little bit with sarcastic undertones and cynicism. Right. And then it now became just some montage videos of sometimes lip singing and sometimes just telling a bit of a topical conversation about something. So it depends on my mood. But yeah, those are the characters. So those are, I guess, recurring as well.
Yeah. So do you have any sort of preference between doing standalone and recurring?
I don't have a preference, actually. I like doing both. I think if I would stay with one character, I feel that it would typecast me completely, and it doesn't show necessarily the range that I do have as an actor. But I love playing certain characters, and when you play a character, you embody it, and it becomes a new person completely, and I become that person, and it's fun. But I don't want to just do one character.
Right.
If one character helps visibility-wise to open the doors for more, I'm all for it. Let me do the French Canadian Therapist for a year. Yeah. But I love doing other creative stories and different characters and telling other people's stories. Like now, Stephen Voice, who's an awesome musician and actor in Montreal as well, along with Sean Curley, we create and come up with different videos at times, and they'll pitch some ideas and we'll write them together. Sometimes he'll send the script and I'll send another script, and so we collaborate a lot more nowadays. And so I love telling other people's stories too, and if I can be involved as a different character in it, I'm all for it.
So this show is very much about process.
Yes.
Let's talk about, can you walk me through your process of creating a sketch from, say, idea to finished product?
Sure. So ideas come anywhere, anytime. A lot of ideas for some reason come at night when I'm sleeping, about to fall asleep, or at work, or while I'm driving to work in the car. And it's just things that either in a conversation somebody will say, or will laugh at something and it'll be like, that's hilarious, or that is true, it happens all the time. Similarly, if a situation happens to me, I'll take that piece and then put it into on my phone I have a notepad page, and it's got like tons of content that I still want to do, but we haven't got to yet. And so that's where the idea comes in. And after the idea, I'll think about what kind of characters will come from, will stem from that idea, and how we will portray it. And then if a story comes out of that as well, I'll develop that further. And then I'll write a script or a outline. And from there, I will reach out to certain actors. So sometimes it's Sean and me, sometimes Sean, me, and Steven. And other times it's reaching out to other Montreal actors that I've either worked with or haven't worked with, or that I would like to work with Nearly Funny. So, and at times I'll have other actors that I've never worked with, or that I know and haven't worked with yet and want to work with. And I'll sit down with them and ask them, what do they want to play? What kind of characters do they want to showcase, or what kind of acting do they want to portray in a video? And then I'll create that with them. And so that's the beginning of it. Then it's the writing it, scheduling. That's not as easy at times. And again, I work full time, so to film it, most of the time we film it on weekends, and we try to film the more we can in a day, so that then I could delay the next shoot, so that I don't have to rush things, so I can then edit throughout the weeks. And we post once a week on Tuesdays most of the time. And so then we'll film it. The actors will most of the time come over here. And then we will basically set up, shoot different angles, different scenes. And then what I love is collaborating with the actors. So if somebody has an idea that they think it will be funny, or if they want to try something different, we kind of let them play, and we just find that chemistry with each other. And then I edit and then post it. And that's the Nearly Funny sequence.
That's the story.
That's the story. So it's a fun process.
Cool. All right. So what's something you wish you'd known about acting before you started?
You need to. One thing, I could say a few things, but you need to work at it. It is just like any other skill. It is practice. It is training. And it is hard work. Some people are gifted with an imagination that's above par, but they still have to work at the training part of it, on knowing how to be in front of a camera, knowing how to work with somebody else, telling a story, telling the writer's story. There's a lot to it, so you can't necessarily just jump into it and expect to be great. Some people have, like anything, have a little more innate talent, but it needs to be crafted and honed. And so I would say train and work hard. The other one is love it, have a passion for it. Because if you don't, this industry is going to eat you up. And it is very hard. especially, again, depending on what you look like, depending on what type you fit. This industry is hard to, like, you sometimes get typecast, or people see you a certain way and that's the only thing you go in for. And again, auditioning is not as often in a place like Montreal. We don't get that many auditions and opportunities as often as we'd like.
Yeah.
So do theater. Theater, there's a lot of independent theater. Create your own content. That's, I think, the key. But hard work and love and passion.
Have you done any French work?
I have done very little. I did one when I was before I got into the union. I did an independent non-union thing, which was a training video online, and it was in both English and French. And so I did that French. I speak French fluently.
Yeah.
But I haven't dabbled into the French market, and that's just on me. That's just on me.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't had any opportunities either to really go into the French side, but that's up to me to make those choices.
Is there anything you wish you'd known before you started making content?
Good question. I wish I'd known.
Anything surprise you about it?
What surprised me, I guess, one thing that did surprise me is that, well, I didn't know how to edit, so learning to edit was one hell of a thing. And it did surprise me that I'd be spending more time editing than actually creating or acting on these videos.
Takes a long time.
But what did surprise me, I guess, was just, I think to me the surprise is the response from people when you see them, because it's not easy to get a response online at times.
Right.
I don't think that the content that we do is necessarily shock value or, like, I think it's great content. I think it's funny as hell. Some of it funnier than others, and I think it's worth watching. And I think people love it when they watch it. But it's hard to get visibility online today. And there's just so much content, and if you don't spend either money or have connections to push it, or network your ass to get people to see it, and that's just time and effort, you don't really get that kind of engagement about it. So you don't really know. So I never knew really at first if people actually liked it. So I would create content. First, I think the first maybe 6 months to a year, I created content and I'd get like 13 views, then 50 views, and then 12 views, and then 4 views. But nobody would. Sometimes I'll get once in a while a comment that would be like, "This is awesome, this is hilarious." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." But then when you see people in person and you meet them in person, all of a sudden that changes, and then they'll tell you that they watched every video and they love this specific one. And so I think that's one of the surprising things, is to actually know that people enjoy it. That was surprised me a lot. I started and I still do it for myself and to entertain. Of course, we all want people to watch it. We all want visibility. We want to progress from it. I'd love to get opportunities that come from it. But the essence of it is to stay creative, get visibility for myself in terms of work, show my acting, and then meet new people and entertain people and make people laugh. So, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question. I think I went around the corner.
I think you answered. It's okay.
Went on tangents. This is what I do. I go on tangents.
That's okay. This is an open space. It's a safe space for tangents.
Good. It's a 500 square foot condo. It's open space.
Okay. So you've acted, you write,
yes.
you've directed, you've produced. Do you have a favorite amongst those things?
Acting.
I
love acting. Second best, I love creating. I think telling a story and being able to make people laugh or being able to make people feel something is also it's exciting. To me, that's something that I love to do. I love taking an idea and bringing it out there and finding things that are funny, finding ways to tell it. But my passion is acting. I love to act and to perform and to tell a story and to embody a character, a person, a story. But yeah, that's, I would say one, two, and then if anybody wants to edit, I enjoy editing now just because I learned it, but it's so much work. It's a lot of work and it's time consuming, but it's a great skill to have. I think if you that's another thing I guess I would say is one thing that I learned from doing this is that getting the knowledge of every aspect of the process and the content, so the editing, the directing, the writing, even the lighting side of things, the more you know and the more you learn, I think the better it is for you for anything that you do, because I now see certain things and I can tell certain things when I edit or when I direct. I'll notice things, or when I film something I'll be like, I can't use this because of the editing, continuity, all these things come to play. I got a ton more things to learn. I'm just, again, it's a beginning, but
online tutorials are the best.
YouTube is where to go. Google and YouTube. But that's one thing I think is keys when you do your own content, is you get to learn everything. So.
Okay. How do you integrate your creative work into your daily life?
How do I integrate it into my daily life?
Because you were saying you have a day job.
Yeah, so I work in marketing.
You have social life, I imagine.
Barely.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. I think creating your own content and doing everything yourself from the get-go. And now again, I have people that collaborate with me at times to help out, and they help in editing or writing or even directing. But doing stuff on your own and creating your own content is time consuming, and especially when you don't have the skill set beforehand and you need to learn it, it's time consuming. Very time consuming.
Yeah.
So it takes away from your day-to-day social life. Like I don't see my friends as much as I would like to. I don't see my family potentially as much as I would like to. I spend a lot of time in coffee shops editing and writing and creating. But when I do, on the weekends when I do meet my friends for shooting, that's when I get to socialize, and that's one of the fun things, is that meeting new people and working with your friends and talented actors. I got to meet some really amazing people and become friends with them, and led to new projects potentially in the future. So that's something that's been amazing. And nowadays, I guess, my day-to-day, because of being trained, I guess, my brain to always think about ideas, that's how my day-to-day is now. So during my my daily routine or life, I'll talk to somebody, and in the middle of conversation, I'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. Give me 1 second, let me write this down. And so it kind of has infiltrated my daily life too, and my social interactions. But yeah, a lot of it revolves around thinking about what to do next and what ideas and where to take it and what project. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So how do you cope with stress and obstacles you face? You must
breathe.
You must face obstacles
all the time.
Yeah.
I think on an actor side, and again as a creator side, I think one of the obstacles even though we all say that it's not for it, we all do want to get visibility, and we do want to have something hit or lead to something bigger. And I think the longer that I'm doing this, so it's been now 3 years, the expectation, I guess, ahead of time is, oh, I'm going to get maybe after a year, or, oh, this video is going to hit and there's going to be more people and it's going to lead to this and that. And so there are times where, yeah, it gets to you, and you're thinking to yourself, I spent all this time and energy and effort in trying to create something and entertain people and bring something to people, and not enough people that you would like are watching it, or it's not giving you an opportunity to do more. I was hoping that I would get way more visibility in terms of auditions and work in projects from showing my acting abilities. Maybe I haven't showed it enough, maybe not that good. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm pretty good. I still got a long way to learn, and I have a lot to do, but I think I'm a decent actor. So there's a little pat on the back. But basically, when you sometimes go months without an audition, sometimes even years without an audition, it gets you, and you go, am I not a good actor? What am I doing wrong? Am I doing this for nothing? Am I losing connections and friendships because I'm putting all this effort and nothing's coming out of it? Will anything come out of it? So that's the hard part. And so to cope with that, I think sometimes out of the blue, somebody will message me or somebody will see me and be like, I love your stuff, I love this character, I love that episode, keep doing what you're doing. That motivates me back and brings me back the energy. And then surrounding myself with some people that really just keep me going, like Steven, like Sean, like my friend Donald Reese. There's a ton I can name. There's Stephanie, there's Val, there's I don't want to name everybody because you're all going Laurent and then everybody. Everybody that I meet brings me something, and I think we all bring each other something. And it's the support of these people that make me want to keep doing it. And people like, I forgot to mention, Danny Malin did a festival in Montreal for a film festival, and he awarded me with a community award, and I was totally shocked. So stuff like that, when that comes, it does justify and kind of give me a boost again. So that's hard. And then acting, I'd love to do acting as a career, but that's also a tough one. And so working full time in something that you would like to be something else, well, something that is not your number one passion, is also sometimes tough. But that's why you gotta create your own stuff, I think, because it makes you appreciate doing it, because waiting around sometimes is hard, and you go, oh, nothing's ever happening. So yeah, that's how I cope, I guess. I try to be positive. 4 ways to cope with stress. Number 1, before going to bed, say something positive. What you're grateful for. I started doing that a couple of months ago. It helps, but it's hard. It's still hard because you're like, I'm grateful for this. And then the next day you post a video and 3 people watch. And you're like, huh. So it's tough, but yeah, you got to keep doing it, and we got to support each other. I think that's the key for me, is the community needs to support each other, and some people really emulate that, and that's what keeps me going.
So going from that, you have been supporting your local artistic community.
Yes.
How did you start with this Monday Motivators? And now you were doing it in sort of Instagram stories and posts on your page.
Yes.
And also now you have, was it Monday Motivators Community Edition on IGTV?
Yeah, and Facebook. I also
Facebook as well?
attach it to Facebook because IGTV is not hitting as much.
Yet.
Instagram, what's going on? What are you doing with that?
Most people don't really know what it is.
I know, and most people don't watch things on it because I feel like they just watch that one clip on Instagram and then they move forward.
It keeps suggesting things I don't want to watch. Also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to tag. It's not as easy to tag. I don't know. Anyways, Instagram, fix it. But it started as a way for me to add to the making of the Nearly Funny videos. So the whole premise of Nearly Funny, again, one of it was showing my talent, but also being able to show other actors like Sean. Sean, when I met him, was one of the most talented actors in Montreal that I know. And I just kept hearing that he wasn't getting auditions and he wasn't doing any roles, and it was just because I don't think people saw what he can do. And so I brought him into a couple episodes, and then Sean's just an awesome person that it was just easy to keep working with him. But then I thought, well, there's other actors like that probably don't get enough chance to show their talent. And when you start out in acting, I think it's in every community, you go to one-line auditions and you get them not so frequently. So it's hard to show what you can do. So theater is one way to do it. So go into theater, showcase your talents there. But then I thought, why not allow people to show their talents in terms of comedy, and if they wanted to do some dramatic kind of spin, that's cool too. And so I invited a bunch of actors and also asked if other actors wanted to be a part of it. And then every time I would meet other actors, they'd ask if they could be a part of it, and I would sit down with them and try to. And I'm trying to reach everybody. It's hard. It's not easy to get everybody involved, but I try. And so another way to do that was not just to film videos with them, but to also highlight them on Instagram of who inspired me at first. So it was a lot about actors and artists that really inspired me and that motivate me and keep me going. And now it's also still there. That's on Mondays. I post on Instagram my inspirations and my motivators. And it could be from little things that they've done. Even if I don't know them, sometimes I'll post about them because they don't know that I, let's say, saw their stuff or know about them. And I think it's important to share that. And I think everybody would benefit from knowing more about how hard people work.
So they don't know you're highlighting them beforehand?
Nope.
Ah.
Very rarely. Only the ones that I interview. But the ones that I post it's a momentary thing that they will find out on the Monday. So stay tuned. Will you be next? So that's the Monday motivators part of it. That was a personal thing. And then I thought, I started talking to people. Again, you talk to other actors and other artists, and you just get motivated from them, and you hear what their story is and how hard they worked, or what they needed to do, or what inspired them. And I thought that, again, as actors, like you had the question about the stress and how do you stay motivated. I thought it would be valuable for other actors and other artists to hear their peers tell them, or other people, or people that have made it, what inspired them and how they stay motivated, and if they have any words of wisdom. And I wanted to keep it short because our attention span are really, I don't know how long you guys have stayed. If you stayed this long, yeah! But so I wanted to keep it short and try to contain it into those kinds of episodes. And so I started with my close friends. So there was Stephen Voice, and then Sean, and then Donald Reese, and then it snowballs. And now I'm trying to reach out to more people and more artists. So stay tuned. There's a few cool ones coming up. And right now it's very local. But again, I'd like to also expand to outside of Montreal. There are other artists that could inspire other people. So that's Monday Motivators Community Edition. And that's, for now, that's what it is.
And if you really want to see that, you have to follow him on Instagram.
Yes, it's probably down here, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, all links. All relevant links will be in the description of this video.
There you go.
All right. You've already given a lot of advice. Do you have any more advice to people starting out?
Starting out
in what you do?
In actors. Train. So I said that.
Yeah.
Collaborate. Reach out to other actors. Network. I'm not a great networker. I'm not. It's not my strength. I need to get better at it. But you need to network. It's important to go out to industry events and acting events and artist events and support other artists. I think the community would be stronger, much stronger, if we all support each other. I know it's a very competitive industry. We are also a very selfish society, period. A human race, we're pretty selfish. We want to succeed in the detriment of others at times. We want to be able to go, look at me versus them. But I think if we all just helped each other and shared each other's work and supported each other, we would all move forward. Because if one person succeeds, they can bring everybody else up as well. So that's one of the things I would say, is support each other. But training is key. Do theater. Go to workshops, acting classes. Other advice I could say: create your own work. Learn to edit. Learn to film. Learn to do all the tricks of the trade, and start your own stuff. You don't have to do. I know a lot, and this I think to me is a little bit of a tricky one, because there's two schools of thought. I think a lot of people believe that you should create something that is valuable, that is of high quality, and only put something of high quality out there. And so a lot of people spend a lot of time and money on creating an amazing piece of work, which is great, and I don't take anything away from that. I think it's valuable and it's important and it's great. But in today's world, literally, there's so much content and things happen so quickly that just creating content. And I think the most important part of that content is the story. If you're creating a video, a film, a short, a web series, yes, lighting is important, sound is important, camera is important, but the story is the key. You can make a video, and I think there's a bunch of examples that I don't know their names again. Duplessis brothers. They made a video of that one Cannes short film festival. They made a simple video with one of them in it doing a short film about how to leave an answering machine message and how frustrating it was. Something of that nature. And it cost them, I think it was like $3 to make. Now they're doing amazing stuff. So I do understand people who say, well, the sound needs to be great. We need to have the highest quality of everything. But just creating content, especially in today's world, just create content. Put yourself out there. You never know who's going to watch. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Tom Hanks, if you're watching this. check out Nearly Funny and maybe cast one of us.
If you're watching this, I would just be happy with that.
You should watch it. But that's the thing. I think the more you create, the more you learn, the more you train, the more you practice, and the more content you have out there, and the more people see you.
Yeah.
So I believe in that right now. That's where I believe. I think it's putting out as much content as you can, but telling a good story, and being entertaining, and just putting it out there and doing the work. I don't take away from anybody else who does spend hours and days and months and years to come up with something. I think it's great. I just think that more content right now is valuable. It also allows you to train more. It also allows you to do more stuff and learn more things.
Yeah.
That's it.
That makes sense. That's good. So, what do you want to plug?
Okay, so check out Nearly Funny on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Anything else tonight? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So every Tuesday, most Tuesdays, I think every Tuesday so far we've done, we post a new video on Facebook and YouTube. Instagram, it depends how long it is. If it's too long, if over a minute, we'll post it on IGTV. Check out also This Is Gus if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube, 9 episodes.
And it's in its own playlist, so it's very easy to find.
Yeah, and you can watch all of them. You can binge. It's not that it's the 30, I think it's about 34, 35, 40 minutes. Something like that. It's not that long. It's pretty fun. Got some great Montreal talent in there too. Monday Motivators, you can check out who motivated me every Monday and who motivates me every Monday. And also the community edition where you'll hear artists talk about it. So that's also on the Instagram and Facebook pages.
Right.
What else? Stay tuned for potentially 2 web series. We're not going to say what or who, but maybe. What else is there I could talk about? The 200th episode just passed, so we finished 200 episodes, so go check that out.
Okay.
I can plug, who else can I plug?
Where should people start? Because you have 200 episodes now. Where would you tell people to start?
It's hard to say.
At the beginning?
You can start at the beginning.
You go backwards?
You can go backwards. Well, the quality is completely different because, again, I didn't know how to edit and lighting and all that stuff back then, and it was just me. But you could check the beginning or the middle or the end. The good thing about being standalone is any episode is actually a funny episode. Check the titles. Maybe there's something that you can relate to or you want to relate to. I think that's all I can think of for the time being for what I can plug.
Anything up for you personally? Like work-wise? Other than Nearly Funny?
I'll be on The Detectives. The show on The Detectives.
Yeah.
You can catch me. I don't know when that airs, but I'm on an episode of The Detectives. Don't have much to say, but I'm there.
Just watch it and just go like, there he is.
Yeah, you might be like, oh, there. Oh, no. I think it's him. That's it for that. I'm trying to think anything else. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
That's cool.
Thanks for interviewing me.
Thank you,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Nir. Thank you for watching, everybody. This is Everyday Expertise, and I'm Angela. Bye. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this interview. Be sure to share this video with friends and colleagues who may also enjoy this topic. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment below, or check the description for our social media. See you next time.